course, that means more missed tackles for them, and line breaks. St George lead there as well. So they've done a marvellous job after coming from 6 points nil behind Paul Vautin, and it's been good work up front by their forwards after an ordinary start.
It's been a great game, hasn't it? The old fire and brimstone from years ago. It's been a pretty exciting match. Saints are all over Brisbane at this stage. Brisbane making far too many mistakes. As we go to their stats now, as far as the work rate is concerned, Alan Ken, a lot of tackles. Kerry Wallace also was 16, but look at Kerrod. He started off well, made a couple of breaks early, but only twice from dummy half. That's because they've had no football. Andrew G, good effort with 9 hit-ups. St George, very impressive effort here by Jason Stevens with 13 tackles and 7 hit-ups. And look at Gordon Talis, already made 5 hit-ups. And the Saints forwards, the work fairly evenly shared there.
Yeah, they have spread it around nicely, but Brisbane, as I said, did get away to a great start, a dream start, we called it, and really there was a lot of urgency in their play, and that was rewarded a fine try early in the game.
Well, they held the ball early, you know, and Terry Madison, all he had to do was he got on the outside of Tony Priddle, had too much speed for him, threw the nice dummy, which Coyne had to fall for. Priddle was the man who should have got Terry Madison. Terry flirted there with the in-goal touchline, but the first points went to the Broncos, and from there they were all over Saints, but they did come back well, the Mighty Dragons.
And they came back through courtesy of what we would call a soft try, really. Phil Blake doing it all himself out of the dummy half position, but there was ample defence there to stop this try.
Plenty of defence there. There were 3 of them, as a matter of fact, but Phil, very determined man this year, Phil. A nice big step there, and only a couple of inches to spare, but that try actually came from a Brisbane mistake. They dropped the ball, then gave away the penalty, which gave Saints good field position.
Now, the next try from Mark Coyne, almost a mirror reflection of that one, and that means there's got to be some sort of drama around the dummy half area, marker-wise, for the Brisbane side, because you don't allow these sort of tries twice in a game.
No, they've gone to sleep there twice, haven't they? The marker area, there must be communication. Obviously, there's none here with the Broncos, and Peter Ryan tries to come up with a big tackle. I mean, there you've got to be effective rather than try and smash them, and Coyne, very elusive player, Mark Coyne, very underrated. Gets over for the second St George try.
Now, only seconds later, we saw the great work from Jason Stevens. The ability of this man to offload, to bust the line, is something that they can base their whole attack around to some extent. It gives them plenty of momentum, and this one led to a try.
Well, this is shades of Arthur Beecham or Steve Roach at their best, and Jason Stevens hits the ball. No secret tonight, they are running. The big blokes are running at Walters, Kevin Walters and Alan Langer. On that occasion, it paved the way for what was a very good St George try. Bradley involved, and Phil Blake, will-o'-the-wisp Phil Blake over for the third St George try. 14-6, they lead half-time. I don't know about you, but I don't think Brisbane can come back from this.
Well, it's going to be a big test for the champions. I wouldn't write them off, but they have got plenty to do. Of course, this weekend the schoolboy competition continues, the Commonwealth Band Cup, an all-Queensland affair this one. Coombabah High School up against Currumbin High School. That's 11 a.m. tomorrow, and from this particular game, we've chosen this as our Coca-Cola Junior Player of the Week.
Some handy ball work, getting away from his opposite is Ian Martin down the left flank. He's up to halfway, turns it back inside to Appo. Appo puts the step on, he's 20 metres out and it's goodbye.
Good communication there from the players. That was a nice pass back inside. And really didn't even have to stretch out there. Erwin Appo.
Plenty of young players there with designs on playing Winfield Cup, and we do thank Coca-Cola for their continued support. A monster lineup of sport this weekend, of course, the Golden Slipper, the richest 2-year-old event in the world tomorrow from Rosehill, all 8 races. Test cricket tonight, we've got the bikes from Eastern Creek, and on Sunday, Sports Sunday at 4 p.m, some great rugby league action coming up with a report on the Brisbane Broncos and a very interesting interview with Mark Geyer.
On Sports Sunday, the troubled Mark Geyer. Will he self-destruct? What's left for him in football? Can he go back home to the mountains and his beloved Penrith? But more importantly, can he get his life in order?
You know, who knows? It could be something right down inside me that needs help.
Up front and brutally honest, Mark Geyer confronts the tough questions. Plus, the league and the Broncos tough talking on who's running the game.
It is business, but at the moment we're controlling it. You're not.
Those stories and more immediately following the Australian 500cc Grand Prix on Sports Sunday.
Plenty of great stuff on Sports Sunday at 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, not to be missed. And if it is happening in sport, you will see it on Channel 9. But for now, at the ANZ Stadium, plenty of work for Brisbane, the reigning premiers, trailing St George 14 points to 6. We'll be back after the break with all the second half action.
Welcome back now, the second half, and Brisbane, they are playing the catch-ups. They're down 14-6, and this is one of the reasons. St George playing very confidently. They're big men, one after the other, driving it at them. And the question is, can Brisbane come back? 3 tries to 1 down. And I would think that Wayne Bennett, we've had plenty to say at half-time. Gary Belcher, as a matter of fact, of course, is part of the Brisbane unit. What was said at half-time, Gary, are you able to tell us?
Yes, Ray. Well, he stated the obvious. He wanted better ball control in their 40-metre zone. He wanted them to stop getting sucked into St George's niggling tactics and fighting. They have got a bit of a problem. Terry Madison's gone off with a shoulder injury. I don't think he'll be back on. That leaves a gap there in their goal-kicking department. Perhaps Alan Langer will take over that. St George, well, I've probably got a better chance of winning Lotto than getting in their dressing room. One of the tactics apparently is more dummy half running.
Kevin Walters is not out there, Gary. He actually walked out for the second half and then came off, replaced by John Plass before they started. What's wrong with him?
Well, he was asked the question. I'm not sure what the injury is, but Wayne Bennett certainly asked him the question, are you ready to play? When he first went off, he said, yes, I am, but he's had a bit of a think about it. And Wayne said to him, I want fit players out there that can do the job for me. So Kevin Walters is being pretty honest, I think.
OK, well, Mark Hone is on now. And in back play, Michael Hancock again is in trouble for Brisbane.
Well, he's limping fairly badly over there in the left wing. Talked about the goal kicking, Gary. I would be betting that Julie O'Neill will probably take over in that role. There's space here for Maybon, but Khan's got him down low.
Yeah, Fatty, you're actually probably right. I forgot he was on the field. I know when Alfie did the kicking a few weeks back, it was Paul Hoff playing at fullback. So, yeah, Julian O'Neill for sure.
Mark Coyne now playing it for the Dragons. And short passing out for Goulet to stand, offering it around. And this is Barnhill that eventually crosses the halfway line.
And if Brisbane continue to come up in a staggered fashion as they did there, the short passing game of St George is just going to flourish. Another good ball on the blind side, a better one inside. That's touched by a Brisbane player, but it's play on. Under Saylor getting away from Jeff Hardy. And a good run from Saylor, centre field, 41 out.
Quick play the ball by Saylor, and now Kerrod Walters, trying to keep the pot boiling, has made the mistake.
Well, sometimes your enthusiasm overrides your technique, and I really think that we've seen that on 2 occasions. Firstly with Alan Langer on the far corner just before a try, and this time Kerrod Walters. It was a quick play of the ball. He was looking to take advantage of it, took his eye off the ball, came up with the mistake.
Saints with a good opportunity. This is their first tackle, and they're 40 metres away from the Brisbane line. Jeff Hardy now takes another run towards the blind. On the eastern side of the ground they are. Nathan Brown working it back for Phil Blake at first receiver, popping it up for Goulet. And the sound of the whistle. And this will be a penalty against Brisbane, against Glenn Lazarus. Swinging arm or a punch in the tackle. Lazarus most disappointed.
And this is right in front of the sticks.
Little forearm jolt.
Oh, I don't think there's much in that. I don't think it deserved a penalty, did it?
Well, I did. I think it was a cheap shot there, a bit of frustration. There was no need to throw it. And especially in full view of the referee in front of your posts in your own 35-metre area. There wasn't much to it, but it wasn't needed.
Ian Heron prepares to take the penalty that will send St George to a 16-6 lead. 10 points in front then. And repeating for you Footy Tab players, on the record margins on New South Wales Footy Tab, the pool 1.6 million. I can see, or I can almost feel, people that have got the 1 to 12 margin for either. They're trying to keep them together, and the others are wanting it to get larger.
Boy, you shaking.
I don't mind admitting I had a go. I took both of these sides, as a matter of fact, to win by 1 to 12. But Saints are getting perilously close to putting me out of play. Heron, beautiful kick. It never left the line. That's like that hole in one at Monash that Sterling got the other day.
I knew to get a mention. Oh, you Ray.
Well, it was the equal of the classic catch. Somebody's got to mention it. 16-6, the Dragons over the Broncos. 44th minute of the game.
I think about the hole in one. I mean, it did hit 6 foot pin high to the left of the pin, and it bounced off a pebble.
Yes, and it went in for one.
Brisbane start the next chapter. Rod Maybon has got a tape around his head. He looks like he's got an injury that's been padded just behind the right ear. Walford. What's the story on Kevin Walters, Gary? I'm led to believe you've got an update.
Yes, Ray, ankle injury. I don't really expect to see him back. The news for the St George camp, Andrew Walker warming up. He's just been given heaps of instructions from coach Brian Smith. Expect to see him out there soon.
Andrew Walker, well, that indicates to me that Brian Smith has decided to go for full throttle. He's not thinking about closing it up if he's going to put Andrew Walker on, Gary.
No, he certainly is a fine attacking player and a player of the future. We should see some good footy this afternoon from him, or tonight.
Goldthorpe it is who sends it down to bounce a couple of times for Julian O'Neill to carry it back outside his 20-metre line.
Now, this is an indication of Brisbane. When there's ever a changeover in possession, they always go wide. Wendell Saylor was the only person back there. They did not have a back line set. You can see how bunched they are now. That's not how Brisbane like to play. They like to get the changeover in possession and attack straight away. We've seen very little of it.
Well, Warren Ryan always had a theory about Brisbane. He said they don't necessarily like bringing the ball off their own line. They like attacking yours, but they don't like bringing it off their own. And he had a very good record against the Broncos, Warren Ryan. Not a knock-on. There were no hands in it. Julian O'Neill's kick is low and down for Rod Maybon. And the diminutive former Rabbitoh comes back towards the 20 and beyond. Rod Maybon. And this is Ricky Walford now. They've got it about 33 metres out from their line. Brown. Hardy steps off the left foot, runs into Lazarus. Eventually 3 of them combine to put him away. That's where they are, in their own territory. Goldthorpe throws the dummy, tries to spear through, but the number 27 makes the tackle. That is, I think, Big Galia, is it not? Brett Galia. Played by Blake on the halfway. Brown works a wide blind, and Bradley drops it onto the foot and finds the line. 15 out now. And that will be... I'm just watching McCallum here. He's just interested to see his signal, but the scrum will go down about 15 out from the Brisbane line.
Well, a couple of the St George players are claiming it was touched by a Brisbane player off Alfie Langer's knee, maybe. A bit hard to tell there. No such instruction from the touch judge to McCallum.
Well, it may be a fairly obvious statement, but with a 10-point deficit facing them, it really is Brisbane that needs to be the next scorer.
Saylor opens the mark.
They won't get him.
Outside the 40. Oh, shut the gate. Have a look at this play. Oh, Carl Lewis. Don't worry about Carl. I'll back Wendell.
Oh, Wendell
Sold
Saylor.
50,000 at ANZ at the moment.
Well, he had a shocker last week to Paul Blake, but he's made up for it in one fell swoop. What about this for a try? An 80-metre job. And he's been forgiven for last week's game. Gets the Broncos back into it because they were on their heels, the Broncos, just to get there. Big gap straight between Talis and Bradley, and away he went.
Get that little horse out. Get him out and do a lap.
Well, when you mark up in defence in the back line, you want to get outside your man, but they overdid it here. We'll see. If we freeze it there, look at how wide the first St George player is. Normally the lock forward will come around here. He's slow in coming. I think Talis finally comes. Eventually, Barnhill had to make a despairing dive. Well, he didn't even leave the ground. But once Wendell Saylor was in the clear, Ian Heron, not a noted speedster, but he was never going to catch him. Walford didn't pick up a yard either. So a terrible breakdown in communication and defence from the scrum base. Much too wide the first man, and no one coming from the scrum base in cover.
Well, it was the back row of the scrum. In actual fact, Talis chased, but he was the front rower. The second row of Goulet, and I think Blake was at lock. I think he's suffering from a hamstring injury as O'Neill converts a simple conversion there. And it's now 16 points to 12 in favour of St George.
There he is. He does the lap of honour at the 49th minute. He's had a long time between runs, the little bloke. 16-12. The Dragons over the Broncos. Friday night football. .49 minutes gone. Saints by 4. And the crowd has come alive again now. Got a football match really on our hands. What's the story on Phil Blake there, Gary Belcher?
Well, Ray, he's hobbling around with a hamstring injury, and for that reason, he wasn't standing at 5'8" from that last scrum. He packed in at lock and pushed another player out wide. I think that's why the break came. Graham Bradley had to play tighter.
Well, that's also the problem with a man going into lock forward, not used to scrum situations. The halfback always stays the blind. The lock forward goes the open, breaks before the ball's even left. And that's why Blake was AWOL. He probably didn't know his assignment.
Mark Hone now drives it over the halfway line. And you can almost see this Brisbane side starting to lift. Langer's kick has got a good chase on it. In fact, he put the chase on the little bloke. Good play, Alan Langer. Walford now, wrestled down by Langer and Kerrod Walters. And they're back inside their 10-metre line. Ian Heron gets it 15 out. The crowd roar. Brisbane making some good tackles. Priddle now, 20 metres out.
Well, there was 3 in a row from Alan Langer from marker, and that's the kind of inspiring play that they look for from champion players. He came up with it, Langer. He led the chase on the kick, came up with street tackles. And they have lifted Brisbane, and not just on the scoreboard.
Goldthorpe clears. Wendell Sailor now. The crowd rose. Thought he might have been going to put them back to back. Hone playing like a man that would like to be in the run-on side. G. Well done, Kerrod Walters. Dummied and cut out Langer. Willie Kahn. Wouldn't he like some more territory to work in? They work the blind, Kerrod Walters and Wendell Sailor. Ian Heron makes the tackle, but they're 20 metres out. This is the last. Langer. Wide kick. And almost coming off for Brisbane. Mistake by St George. Which way will he rule? There's a double knock-on here.
Well, I think it will be from St George. The knock-on, so Brisbane will get the feed they have. This is a very good kick by Langer. Another planned move. Hancock was onside, no doubt about that. Went up it and forced it backwards. The knock-on comes from Coyne, towed through, and there it is there.
Scrum. Won by the Broncos. Langer out for Platt. Now Johns. Centre of the ground, there's the wide shot. O'Neill. Pulled down by Gordon Talis in 41, Bradley. Now the forwards lay a move on Andrew G, almost strolled over. Walters goes wide, Langer steps off his left foot and comes back inside. Bradley again in the defence. From dummy half, Kerrod Walters. Kerrod Walters could see the line, but forced back. Frustration on his face. 5 gone for Langer. Grubbers ahead. Chance for Peter Ryan. Shut down by Maybon.
Excellently cleaned up there by Rod Maybon. And St George weathered that storm. I don't think it'll be the last time we see the ball kicked high to Ricky Walford's wing. He's a fine player, but I've never thought that he got up off the ground particularly well. And I think Brisbane will have seen that and maybe direct something his way again.
Walford gets it outside the 20. St George, they need to play no mistake football in this area. That's what Brisbane are hoping for. Keep them up here, hit them in defence, work for the mistake. Hardy is out wide, but they're only on the 30-metre line, and this is their last tackle now. Goldthorpe driving it and keeping it low, and O'Neill doesn't want any part of it.
See, that is a good kick too. The one thing that St George needed was a rest. They're out on their feet out there. They've been under enormous pressure. They really didn't want to have to face straight away 6 more tackles from the Broncos who are looking to throw the football around. They're winding everything down here. St George quite happy to have this break as the scrum is setting.
Don't forget, tomorrow on the wide world of sports, you'll see the entire coverage from Rose Hill of Golden Slipper Day. 8 races, 8 fantastic races. The Slipper, the BMW, all the stars in action tomorrow. And you'll see it all on the wide world of sports. The cricket tonight, the slipper tomorrow, Eastern Creek as well, and then on Sunday again. It's a feast of sport, isn't it? A great weekend.
You're a good judge, Rabs. What can you put a mock on something in the slipper for us?
I'm going to back Mr. Vitality and Poyak. This is Lazarus to the halfway.
The trainers of those two just fainted.
He's working with them. I'm stuck with him, you wouldn't believe it. Ryan back to O'Neill. O'Neill brought down 38 out from the line. Langer now keeping it low, punching it over to that corner, looking for Wendell Saylor. Maybon, a little bit of hesitation in the way he picked it up, but he's back safely into the field of play.
Yes, he did well because there was some pressure on him, and he kept down low to get back over the goal line. And Heron.
Oh, the flag's gone up.
Oh, he's done it. He tried to go out, and he did in the end.
This could be one of the biggest decisions of the game, this one. He really took a chance here, did Ian Heron. It looked as though he'd got away with it, but as you can see from the arm of Greg McCallum, he signals a Brisbane scrum feed. Why you would ever got up and tried to make some more ground there, I will never, ever know. And there's the hand going over.
Well, whose hand is it?
Exactly.
They attack from the scrum win, Brisbane. Julian O'Neill getting involved. They've got another 5 to go. 22 metres out.
Tell you what, we'll have a look at that again if we can, because I'm not sure the hand belongs to Ian Heron. It doesn't matter now because the ruling's been made. This is Mark Hone, 12 metres out from the Saints line. Langer back on the right. John Plath pulled down by Graham Bradley. Sloppy played the ball. Walters away for Langer. Runs to the defence line. Gets around Goulet. Draws another. Floats the pass out. Hancock is close. 5 gone. Walters kicks across the ground. And Goldthorpe was there like an Australian rules fullback to take it back.
And what a terrible kick there by Walters. Had to give it some height if he wanted to put it across the face of the goal line. It gave it no chance at all.
It's when you kick the football, you've got to kick it so there's some pressure on the opposition and you've got a chance of getting the football back. Nobody knew about that kick from the Brisbane side and all the pressure off. Great tackle from Mark Coyne and Ricky Walford on the far side. Goulet now taking the ball forward. They've weathered a storm, St George. I don't think it's the last one.
But what Brisbane are doing in this half that they did in the first half is they're completing their sets of 6, and that is putting a whole lot more pressure on the St George side defensively.
Goldthorpe. Charge down attempt by Galia. And now Julian O'Neill comes running back to the 40-metre line. Stevens is back on. Priddle is off. Saylor has got 3 or 4 defencemen on him. Brisbane attack line, if I can use that expression, it seems to be all over the place. Oh, that's a good tackle. Who is that? Stevens? Yeah, Jason Stevens on Chris Johns. Kerrod Walters is very busy, isn't he? Lazarus gets a pass back on the inside. Chris Johns is the man to play it. To the left for Langer. Holds it back, drills the pass to Ryan. Ryan for Platt. That got knocked down, did it by Goulet. We'll see what he rules. He's ordered a knock on against Brisbane. Crowd don't like it. By the way, 37 3/4,000 here tonight.
Looked as though it might have been 6 again to Brisbane here. The pass back inside. Well, I can't see a Brisbane knock on there.
There's dead set no knock on there.
If there was any knock on, it was that came off the fingers maybe of Scott Goulet. But they get the feed, St George. And this is Mark Coyne. Well, Ian Heron is breathing much easier, isn't he? Nothing really eventuated out of that indiscretion of his, if it was him. Walford now. But the point is we can put it to bed because it didn't have any effect on the game. Bradley. St George getting it up towards the halfway. They've partly weathered the storm as Brown throws a pass of about 20 metres and Goldthorpe drives it down, but kicked it straight to Julian O'Neill, who let it bounce, and Brown makes the tackle around the bootlaces. 28 out from the line. Michael Hancock, he was the only man back to take the play forward.
And that, to me, is the difference between Brisbane this year and last year. Even now, they're still bunched. Look at them. There's no opportunity to go wide, and that's when they're most potent, early in the tackle count with their speed man.
Sailor.
Well, still, I think possibly in their favour. There's no Kevin Walters there and no Steve Renoff. And that's they haven't got the firepower out there maybe to throw it wide.
And just maybe, too, we saw at half-time the statistics, they've done a lot more tackling. And fatigue has got to play a part. Tough to get back when you're a little bit tired.
Mark Honer's made a difference. Great pass. Langer did well. This is Galia.
Yes.
And Langer's been taken high.
Yeah, Goldthorpe got him, and Goldthorpe gives Alfie a pat on the chest. Didn't really mean anything by it, but still the penalty's gone to Brisbane. So they're on a roll now, Brisbane. Little man on little man it was. As Alfie was nearly put through a gap, and right around the Gregory Peck there. Didn't hurt him.
Yeah, it was good to see him play on, wasn't he? He didn't try and milk the penalty. It was an obvious one. In Alan Langer's mind, he wasn't trying to get the man penalised. He was just looking to continue play.
He'll play on now, though, because they've got a great attacking opportunity in front of them. That's the first, and they're 15 out from the line. Mark Hone takes the second play. That's the 10-metre line. They're in the centre. Langer around the back picks up the third runner, and that was Julian O'Neill. There's the line. They're on the western side of the ground. 37,000 willing them to score. Langer across to John Plath, and Plath is put away. No gain in ground. If anything, a bit of a loss of ground. Langer now out and away to the right. Walters holds it, goes himself, floats it out. Sailor gets a bounce, but he can't hold it. Pass went forward, said McCallum anyway.
I can't remember the last time St George had the ball over Brisbane's halfway line. Walters nearly getting around Jason Stevens or Graham Bradley, and that pass going well forward. Only got 17.5 minutes left on the clock. Still plenty of time for both these teams to come up with something special to win this game. Has been very physical.
Barnhill is out to the 20-metre line now. Nathan Brown, the dummy half, has played well for St George. Goulet out wide, taking the tackle and dropping it down for Jeff Hardy. Hardy met by Khan. You make the point that Brisbane are missing Renoff. I agree entirely. But I also think the change of Khan coming into the centres is another minus for them. I know it's probably the best option for them, but with Renoff out and moving Khan into the centres, their attacking flow seems to be punctuated or something like that. The kick in general play, Sailor.
He took that so casually there, Wendell Sailor, and nearly went into touch because of the good St George defence in Heron and Blake. Coming through at a million miles an hour. Just have a look at Sailor.
Wasn't he nonchalant about this?
Well, he's willing it to go out. It was never going to go out, and he was lucky to survive that.
Well, that's where we are now, just outside the 20-metre line, Brisbane's end of the ground. As Lazarus heavies it out to the 30-metre line, and Andrew G does the same. A couple of big Clydesdales. Up the middle they go.
As Alan Langer kicks the ball, drives it down, Rod Maybon comes across on his own 20-metre line. Now it's an easy game from the stands up here. We've talked about the Willie Carnes and missing of Renoff and that. But to me, a man who can never be underestimated is Terry Madison. I really think they've missed him out there. The link that he provides between forwards and backs, his ability to make a bust, he put on the first try. He's the man that I think they're really missing. And one of the lower profile players in this side, I suppose, when you think they're match winners.
Goulet. Not very often do you see him taking the first pass off the ruck. Brown, so often coming up at first receiver in the second half. Goldthorpe has put away 40 metres out. Brisbane are on their heels. They're backpedaling. Goldthorpe gets an ordinary pass. He's still able to get the bomb in, however. O'Neill puts it down behind him. Hancock. 20-metre line on your screen. Brisbane's end of the ground. Sailor now, who put them back in the game with a chance.
Well, they used up a lot of juice of Brisbane trying to get the ball over the line. And now with, 14 and a half minutes remaining, there's a few hands on hippers out there and they're struggling to get it out of their own danger zone.
Well, this is the fourth tackle in the game. Look how bunched they are. They're really curbing their options in attack here. It's been all one-out stuff. They're going to have to kick now.
Not only curbing their options, but becoming very predictable for the defence. So the turnover of possession off the kick, and Heron it is. Right on the halfway mark, the tackler Chris Johns. Walford. 16 to 12. St George with 3 tries to 2. Stevens lumbers up towards the 40-metre line. Talis. Joint tackle there by Lazarus and Andrew G. Brown shows it a couple of times, running across the park, and gets it back eventually to his captain, Mark Coyne. Coyne is on the 20-metre line. This is the last tackle, and Coyne goes himself, works the blind side, kicked the head by St George's Ricky Walford, and taken into touch. It'll come out to the 20 for the restart. The scoreline, 16-12, the Dragons. Back and away from the 20-metre tap, and good ground on offer for the Broncos. Mark Hone.
Hasn't he done well, Mark Hone, since he's come onto the field? He's just a straight up and down man, but makes good meters every time he grabs the footy.
Well, his game really improved last year too, Paul, with the ability to offload at times. Became less predictable. He can pop a ball now, and it means that defence are in two minds. And the inside ball to Langer nearly gets through the middle. Play seesawing from end to end.
Plath now.
12 and a half minutes to go.
Sailor storming down on this kick. Heron. Oh, jeez. Just inside the field of play. Tucked his legs up. Maybon. Sometimes wonder at the value of letting that ball go over the sideline, even entertaining danger. 6 inches in that. Penalty to St George, that'll help them. Against the Broncos for holding down in the play the ball.
Yes, ruling against Mark Hone there, saying that he was a second tackle coming in. Wasn't required. 11 minutes to go. St George have been down this end of the field very often. I wonder if they can get down and close to the opponent's line, whether they can put the points on. It happens so often in games.
2 very good rugby league sides of the 90s doing battle here at ANZ. They've held the spotlight in rugby league really for a couple of years now. They've been the 2 that have gone on show on the big day. They contrast in their styles somewhat. And that, of course, comes down from the coaches, Brian Smith and Wayne Bennett. Gary Belcher.
Yes, Ray. Brian Smith down here preparing Tony Priddle to get him back on the field at some stage.
Blake gets a pass away. Wolford gets inside the 20-metre line. Pulled out 11 out. They spread to the left fast. Then Stevens for Hardy and Talis. Talis scores. The Dragons, they're going to win it now. We can say that with a bit of surety. 20 points to 12. Beautiful stuff.
Oh,
and Phil Blake again played a major part.
Yeah, but the Broncos are gone here. Look, they're not even onside. They're all offside. And the good quick hands by St George. Draw and pass, draw and pass. There'll be a hole somewhere. There it is, and Talis on the charge. They weren't going to stop him.
Very good advantage played by the referee, Greg McCallum. They were all offside. In the end, it's Alan Langer who doesn't come up in the line. He provides the space. Beautiful hands there. And the ball to Gordon Talis. He was on the fly, but if they could have kept that ball going, there had to be, as Paul pointed out, a gap somewhere. And it all came from the bust down the right-hand side. A beautiful ball to Ricky Walford. Took them 40 metres down. And Gordon Talis, he scored a great try against Penrith last week, and he's backed it up with a double today.
Worrying time for the defending premiers. 20 points to 12.
Well, it is. I mean, if East and South were to have wins this weekend, Brisbane would be running dead last on 1 point in the comp.
2 from 4 for Ian Heron. Practically right in front for Ian Heron. Doesn't raise the pulse rate all that much. 22 points to 12. And it was Phil Blake that went to the right and gave that pass.
Yeah, it looked forward, didn't it? But it's on the board. Read about it in the paper tomorrow, and now Brisbane with under 9 minutes to go. Looks too big a task for them, and I'm not going to write them off again.
Gary, I was drawing you into a comment on the contrast in coaching styles when that try started to unfold.
Yes, you were, Ray. Well, Wayne Bennett's up in the stand. He's still dieting on fingernail sandwiches as the last few weeks. Brian Smith up and down the sideline like an expectant father, but I suppose the baby just came in the form of that Gordon Talis try.
Talking of Gordon Talis, what an exciting prospect he really is. Wayne Bennett up in the crowd there. Elevated viewpoint on the game. I just wonder, when I look at Brisbane, what changes Wayne Bennett has on offer. And Gary, you'd know better than anybody, what changes has he got on offer?
Well, for a start, he's got Steve Renouf coming back next week.
Yeah.
Some form being found in the second, certainly for Gavin Allen. I know that Paul Hoff has been playing very well, but I wouldn't suggest that Julian O'Neill is going to lose his spot, that's for sure. I really think that it's not a matter of changing too many players, it's a matter of getting these players back on deck.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think that Wayne Bennett is the kind of coach to make wholesale changes. He can't be that wrong in picking his best 13. I know that they won't have won a game in 3 if they do happen to lose this one tonight, as it looks as though will be the case. The biggest attraction in any coach is loyalty. He's always had that with these players. I think they'll rise to the occasion, and I'm sure that we're not going to see many new faces in this top side.
Ball played by Brett Galia, and now Langer shoots the ball out to the left, trying to get to the extremity quickly, something they haven't done tonight. Mainly because, as Sterlo has pointed out so often, they've been bunched on this end of the park. How many times have you heard us say that Brisbane, they're hard to defend against because they can score a try from inside their own 20. And they do that normally on a quick turnover of possession, and they'll stretch the ball to the extremes very quickly. They haven't had that option, mate. Oh, here's a chance for Brisbane if they get the bounce. Well, Willie Khan, he had the chance.
Yes, he got the bounce, but couldn't hang on to it. Maybe he could have put this on the toe. He was onside. The other player there, Plath, was offside, but Khan came through at pace, couldn't handle the footy. Would have made it interesting with 5 or 6 to go. I think Brisbane has simply been outplayed tonight by a very committed St George side. Remember, they were down 6-0 and straight away to the 14-6 lead. They've shown a lot of skill and a very tough defensive effort by them tonight. Had some outstanding players. Jason Stevens, the man with the football there, has had a blinder, and they've all played very well.
Yeah, that's exactly the case, isn't it? Attacking-wise, many times you're only allowed to play as well in that area as what your opposition allows you to. And St George, they've been relentless.
Gurley crosses the halfway line. Wayne Collins is out there for St George in 22. The reserve grade hooker's jumper on his back at the moment. Saylor with some work to do. The chase is good. Saylor's away from them. Straightens it up. Oh, good play by Wendell Saylor. 15 out from his own line. Johnny Plath. That's Willie Kahn. It's the closest thing he's seen to open space all night, Willie Kahn. G. About 4.5 minutes of this match to go. Mark Hone has been a standout amongst the forwards in the second half since he came on. Kerrod Walters now. Glenn Lazarus slides the pass around the corner for Willie Kahn. And dragging off his legs is Goulet. Over the top was Coyne. Sailor passes for Langer. Langer grubber kicks ahead. And St George with Ian Heron, a little knock on. So they've brought the mistake they were looking for. Just told by my director it's Ian Heron's eye that's bleeding, not the nose. So Langer plays at 10 metres out. Andrew G goes towards the line before finding Willie Kahn. Kahn finds John Plath, and Plath slams it down on the line. That's a try. That's a try for Brisbane.
Well, one thing about the Broncos, they won't lay down, will they? I know there's only a couple of minutes remaining, but they'll get the ball back from the kick-off, and who knows what can happen. This is another good try by them. Andrew G thunders up. Some good offloading here. Willie Kahn takes it to them. Now, Platt's got plenty of work to do. There's a 400 St George players there, but finally gets the ball down on the line, and they're still alive. A slight chance.
Yeah, good work here from Willie Kahn to get inside his man, Mark Coyne. A few players to pick from. Looked like Maybon was nearly going to hold Plath up, but he finally got the ball down, as Ray Warren pointed out, on the line. All it needs to be. Does score some tries when he comes on. Is John Plath.
What, Rose, would you write the Broncos off with 2 minutes remaining in possession of the footy?
No, because they're a great side, but the way they're playing tonight...
I mean, they don't deserve to win the football match.
No, that's a fair call.
Saints have outplayed them, but my word, it'll be interesting last couple.
I'll put it this way, I'd like to have the 13-8 on offer out in the red centre. 22-16, the kick to come. Julian O'Neill doesn't seem as though he's concerned about getting this over and done with a great deal of urgency, but he has kicked the goal. That might be more important than everything. 22 points to 18. 2 minutes. Can they score?
And St George walking back to the halfway line.
He'll blow time out.
Yeah, he's calling them up now. They know what they're up against. They know what a great side Brisbane are.
37 3,400 here tonight. Brisbane 1 reserve grade, 8-6. And the Crushers Colts beat the Brisbane Colts 40 points to 16 in a curtain raiser. Goldthorpe with the long-awaited restart. Rugby League provides a few miracles. Is there one about to unfold?
Well, it was interesting there. McCallum never signalled time off, yet the Brisbane timekeeper, he wants Brisbane to win. He gave him 15 seconds off. Stop the clock.
Second play for Brisbane. They're inside their 20-metre line. As Alan Langer gets a pass away, miraculous pass. He knows they've got to squeeze the ball on every opportunity. John Platt. Oh, he took a chance. No knock on. Galia. Back and away to Walters. Now to Kahn. Listen to the crowd. Sailor. And now number 29 is on for Brisbane. Is that Morganson? I'll take a gamble, but I think I'm wrong. Langer. A grubbing kick taken by Jeff Hardy. Pain on the face of Alan Langer. Coyne. Langer, was he high?
Yeah, he was, and I'm not sure if it was a forearm, but Andrew G not happy about the penalty. Coyne takes him dummy half here. Now, Langer comes in about third man in the tackle. Comes in late here. Oh, there it was, right around the chops. Siren acknowledged the end of the game.
St George have won it. 22 points to 18. Great performance by the Dragons. I think Fatty said it all when he pointed out that really Brisbane didn't deserve to win. Should they have scored a miracle try in the last 2 minutes? But the Dragons have won 22-18. ANZ Stadium is becoming a happy hunting ground for St George. Maybe they wouldn't mind if John Quayle brought the grand final here. 37,700 odd. They saw the Dragons win 22-18 here for the second time in succession. Great win by them. Some injuries to the Broncos. We'll find out more about that with Sterlo and Fatty when they wrap it up in just a few moments from back here at the ANZ Stadium. Don't go away. The sport keeps coming to you on the 9 Network.
Again, St George have reigned on the Brisbane parade here at ANZ Stadium in more ways than one, winning their first meeting since the grand final, 22 points to 18. In the end, a 4-try-to-3 victory. Phil Blake once again showing his scoring prowess, grabbing 2. Coyne and Talis tries, Heron 3 from 5. And for Brisbane, Madison, Saylor and Plath got tries. No misses for the Brisbane kickers. And Paul Vautin tonight, St George on their merits.
One of their finest hours, Peter. They did it the hard way. They came from behind, down 6-0 early and weren't playing very well. But they just stuck to it. Their forwards played a great game up front. They played it hard and tough the way they should, and their backs like Phil Blake finished it off for them. A great win, one of their best ever.
Yes, to beat Brisbane you have to play well up front, and no surprise to see our man of the match once again, a man who's featured already this year. Our best is now with Gary Belcher.
Yeah, thanks Sterlo. Well, Jason Stevens has our thumbs up as the $1,000 Ansett Australia man of the match. Jason, you've beaten the Broncos at home. Do you think that's a big psychological battle?
Yeah, it is, although I'd be happy to beat them anyway. They're a very classy side. We just managed to get forward on them today and came home with the points.
Now, your own form, you're pretty happy with that coming up in a few weeks' time, some rep games?
Oh, yeah, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just worried about playing well with St George and holding my position in the side.
Now, can you give away the coach's tactics? Just how do you beat the Broncos?
Mate, you throw the ball around, try and play the game. Geez, you got me off guard with that one. But just try and get forward on those fellas, you know, and I think that's what we did, and the backs did the rest.
Good on you, Jason. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Ansett Australia and Channel 9.
Yes, he is an exciting talent. I don't like to put too much pressure on young players, but no surprise to see him go away Kangaroo Tour at the end of the year. Footy tab tonight on Pick the Score, 22 points to 18, $160.60. And of course on Sunday our cameras go to the Sydney Football Stadium. South Sydney desperate for a win. They have the opportunity against Canterbury at 6:30 p.m, but please check your local guides for that one. And we are back, Paul. I'll let you handle this one.
Well, the footy show starts back on Sunday week. We'd love to get you in the audience. We can probably fit, what, 2,000 or 3,000 in this next week. So give us a ring at Channel 9, 965 2625. And we can't wait for the footy show, Sterlo.
Mate, the only way to start a Sunday. We put rabbits on the spot. A quick tip for the slipper tomorrow.
Well, unfortunately, for the connections of Mr. Vitale, I'm sticking with him. So it has got some weight to carry now.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a late scratching tomorrow morning. I'm going Lord Jim. I think he's a good chance tomorrow. But of course, plenty of sport coming up this weekend. Don't miss tomorrow, Eastern Creek, the qualifying in the bike races out there. 8 races from Rosehill and a couple from Melbourne as well, the legs of the double down there. And of course, coming up after Nightline tonight, a shortened version of Nightline, will be the Test cricket, the third and final deciding test in South Africa in Durban. Australia taking on the South Africans. Going to be a great contest over the next 5 days. But for now, on behalf of the entire wide world of sports rugby league team from the ANZ Stadium until Sunday afternoon, we wish you a very good night.
Walters to Kevin Walters, and across now, Madison. Madison throws the dummy, goes through, and Madison scores the try. Michael Hancock take a bow. Blake goes from dummy half, and he goes to Hancock, wins, and scores the try.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Friday Night Footy, proudly sponsored by KFC, Power Brewing and Mitsubishi.